now with all that controversy and stuff off my chest, I guess it's time to actually delve into the details of the movie. So sit tight. Here we go. Let's talk spoilers. So the Ghost in the Shell movie, it's strange to me because they take a lot of liberties and with this adaptation, which is fine. That's kind of what I expected, because there's no real sequel room, I don't believe, with this type of thing. If you're gonna do it one and done, get it out of the way. Especially because we're never gonna get perfect. So let's go from the beginning. So a robot has never been able, apparently, to have a human brain. So basically connecting a human brain to what they would call a shell. A robot body that can be repaired and all, but with the brain, the memory of a human, or the thinking capacity towards it. So they made one. And this is kind of the next step in this cyberpunk world where people can get augmentations. I wear glasses, so in this world, I would immediately get new eyes. Period. And there's actually a joke that, in the movie where, there was a frivolous use and purchase of a cybernetic enhancement. Some guy getting a new liver so he can drink more at the bar, which is hilarious to me that someone would think to do that. But no, in this world, we have, and this is what I talked about earlier in the other video, which will be in the description below, and this one. The retcon for ScarJo being the main star is that's the cyber body, and I'm assuming this woman who oversaw the project kind of wanted to feel like a surrogate mother or someone towards this character. So with Major, Scarlett Johansson, at least in body, is the Major. Excuse me. She's the Major only with her body. Now, who is she in the brain? Who is she in the brain? The brain is actually from a young Asian girl who was a runaway from one of her parents. And that's a huge spoiler for the movie because she is told that she was actually in a car accident. I believe she was a police officer or something that they told her, and they reprogrammed her. Now, how do I feel about that twist? It's actually, I thought it was quite good, actually. For the people who would never know anything, my wife included, who knew nothing about Ghost in the Shell except that it existed, she was actually like, oh, wow, that's dickish. Like, when we're sitting at lunch after this, and she actually says, oh, that was really dickish of them. And yes, it is. That's because this world constantly has people getting screwed over. Now, that's the only real big twist besides one that you can probably see a mile away, which is Major being betrayed by Hanka, or Hanka, however you want to say it. I've always said Hanka. But she's essentially looking for a villain by the name of Kuze, who is not as good as the Puppet Master. I don't care what anyone says. But Kuze actually has a network of people basically just hooked up. I'm not even kidding, like hooked up to like give him his own series of his own internet, essentially, his own access to literally everything. And he's able to hack in, get people killed and all, and people are asking, why is he doing this? We gotta go kill him. Or at least stop him. And Major's mission is to terminate, pretty much on sight. So, with all of that being in, Kuze does not live up to the expectation of like a Puppet Master type villain. But you find out that he was, not only is he a ghost in the shell, like Major is, but we find out something way deeper about him, which is that he was a runaway with, I believe her name was Matoka, I cannot remember, but he was a runaway with Major's original body as well. So they were both in original bodies as 16-year-old kid runaways who were just abducted. And since, well, screw it, no one else was going to know who they were or care about them, you could just cover that up. However, they used them as experiments to try to get a ghost in the shell actually to work. Kuze did, in a sense, but he became violent and unstable, and his body would reject what was being given to him. There's an actual, I thought it was kind of brilliant. They talk about a serum being used to help from your brain rejecting the cybernetic body, and Major talks about that. And Kuze pretty much just tells her, no, it doesn't do that at all. It's essentially just so they can control you, if I remember right. I'm sorry, for your memories. It was for your memories. Throughout the movie, Major is seeing visions and glitches, as they're calling, which they're seeing through the code, and they're like, oh, that's screwed up. And she's like, yeah, are you sure you've been taking your medicine? And that should have pretty much tipped her off, like, yeah, if I want my memories back, I probably shouldn't be taking this. So she stops taking it, and she's like very quickly catching up to her past and what the hell has been going on. So the spider tank is in the movie, and that scene, which is pretty much the end of the movie, it's kind of abrupt, but it ends well enough. It's a satisfying conclusion. Now, Bato, there was a botched attempt, no pun intended. There was a botched attempt at killing Kuze after Major had done what we call a deep dive into a geisha's body, or into a geisha's coding. Now, from what you've seen of the trailers from beginning to end, the geisha thing pretty much happens first, and then we see a deep dive where she is then free and open to be hacked, and she was, but she also then afterwards knows where Kuze is, or thinks she knows where Kuze is. She goes there and shoots at him, but it's a hologram, and there are explosives waiting for them. And Bato catches a horrible part of the blast and ends up getting his eyes to become Bato that we know and love, which is awesome. So afterwards, we get some randomness. We get a basset hound. We get a basset hound in this movie. If you guys know anything about Bato or Ghost in the Shell, you know that basset hounds are kind of amazing in that universe, and they're just amazing all around. I mean, they just have really cute faces. So there's that. There's the cars and the scenery, or like I said in the spoiler-free review, are amazing. But the story, I think, really actually held up on its own. Beat Takeshi Kitano, being able to fulfill his role to kill a few guys, and not only kill a few guys, kill them very well, and also to kill the final villain with a line that was kind of repeated throughout the movie, like, my name is Major, and I do not consent to this, or I do consent to this. At the very end, Takeshi asks, do you have my permission to kill this man, or do you want to bring him in yourself? She says, my name is Major, I give you my consent, and boom. Takeshi Kitano is the most badass dude in this movie. He has one or two good one-liners, but even then, he commands respect, and you can see that on the people in the room with him, that when they were acting, he pretty much commanded all respect in the room for himself. Now, the action is a little bit weird, but at least it doesn't do the weird shaky cam, slow motion thing I'm so used to seeing. It did get a little bit tedious at one of the scenes, and that would be where the dude is just flying around in the water. It got a little bit tedious, but I didn't mind still, because it at least let me go into what was happening. It allowed me to see. It wasn't like Zack Snyder, where it's like every punch is like, I gotta go slow motion on this punch. It was actually, I think, handled very, very well. And a lot of the times I can actually see exactly what's happening in real time, like Bato shooting a dude or kicking a dude in the chest to where his ribs probably collapsed. Yeah, it was all done spectacularly, especially the strip club scene, which is when they were going where Bato lost his eyes. It was underneath a strip club, and Major gets kind of tied up and all, but when she's on a stripper pole, she's just running around it and bitch slapping and bitch kicking people. It was awesome. I love that scene. I mean, I'm gonna get a Blu-ray of this just to have that on standby. If there's a director's cut, which I hope to God there is, because if there's more of this, like with the visual aspect, these guys worked tirelessly to get this world to really look alive, feel, just to get it to where it felt like a real cyberpunk place. And it shows, man. These guys worked their asses off. There could be a ton of stuff that I'm missing from this spoiler review. So if I did, leave that in the comments below. Leave us a like and subscribe to the channel. Helps us grow, and you'll get more of these reviews hopefully soon. I'm feeling a little bit burnt out now on the theaters, honestly, but we got Guardians of the Galaxy and Alien Covenant coming up very soon. So at that point, I'm going to be recharged, because Alien is one of my favorite franchises of all time, and you guys will be able to hear me rant and rave about how much I hate Prometheus. Probably on I'm hoping to do a bad review or a bad movie review of those types of movies soon. So let me know if you guys want to see that. I would love to do them for you. And you know what? I'll see you later. My name's TJ of NerdMake. Once again, I'm signing off. Peace out, guys.